Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jen.
I'm Amber.
And on this channel we talk about controversial stuff. So if you are easily triggered, you may or may not want to watch. I don't know. Today's topic is going to be a rant on Amber being disrespectful and interrupting.
I'm fine.
Okay, she's fine. She's fine.
I'm good.
Are you dead yet? Did you die?
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. Yeah, you ain't got a lot left. You better watch out.
I know. I gotta start conserving that like Michael does his words.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so today's topic is a rant on our failing education system here in the U.S. So I recently read this book called Mediocrity. It is by Connor Boyack. He, at one point, not too long ago, served in the Department of Education. And so in this book, he brings to light a lot of the failures of the education system. And, you know, we homeschool, and one of the biggest things people say about homeschoolers is they're not going to be prepared for the real world. Or, you know, they don't get any socialization skills. Or what are the other common misconceptions about homeschoolers?
You know, I don't really know because I don't really pay attention. Other than, like, people calling homeschooled kids weird. But that's not a bad thing. They are kind of weird, and I like them.
I like this kind of weird where they know the difference between a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
They know that pooping in a litter box is not appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, we frown upon that in our household.
Yeah, they can walk around and, you know, pretend all they want and have fun and use their imaginations, but not to the extent of actually using a litter box.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. There's a fine line between imagination and insanity, and I think that that's where I draw the line. What about you?
They're just insanely imaginative.
Yeah, right? And if,
no, I don't like it.
If the fact that our kids believe that there's only two genders, it makes them weird, they're my kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, of course everybody has negative things to say about both public and homeschool. But in today's world, I'd much rather be homeschooling than public school.
Yeah.
Because not only because of, like, the gender identity crisis that we're going through.
It is a crisis.
There's just so much more to it. I mean, each person, you know, each adult, we are all individuals. We know our own, you know, we all have our own skill set. Well, that goes for kids as well. Kids naturally lean towards one thing or another. You know, some like to build things. Some are more into the, you know, science of things. A lot of kids are, you know, kids learn differently and have different skills.
Yeah, right.
And in public school, they are forced to learn set things as everyone else. Everyone is in the same category.
Yeah, every single child is put into the same box.
Yeah, they don't have a chance to learn what they're passionate about, what interests them, what gets their brain thinking, you know, because if you're not really interested in what you're, you know, being forced to learn, are you really learning it?
Or are you being forced to learn enough to pass a test? Or are you actually learning skills that are going to
stick with you something that you're going to use the rest of your life?
I can't think of a whole lot other than reading, writing, and math in school that I learned that I still know. And as far as math goes, I do not use algebra at all. I use addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That is it. I do not. I mean, in the rare occasion
that explains why I'm not very good at, like, square footage.
Yeah. I can do square footage.
You know?
I can't. Angles are different. I'm not so good with angles.
You know, but I mean, it's these things that we were forced to learn in school, but we didn't really retain much of the information. Yeah. But those subjects that, like, actually got my mind thinking and, you know, me wanting to know more, subjects like that, I retained a lot more.
Fun science projects where there was usually, you know, whole volcano thing was cool.
Right.
You learn about chemical reactions. That kind of stuck with me.
Right. I really liked like the whole, well, it's not like we spent time, like too much time covering that in school, but like the like ancient Egypt and
right,
like,
history.
Yeah.
I felt like
way
history.
back history, not like the recent history, but like the way back history.
Yeah. The current events was not fun in school.
No, it was very boring in school, but I liked learning about, things that happened centuries ago.
Right. And so that brings up, homeschooling. The kids have the freedom to explore their interests. So Hunter, at one point, he had a interest in outer space. He spent like 8 months studying outer space. And that was 5 years ago, and he retained all of that information. You ask him a question, he can answer it. A lot of times he's like, hey, fun fact or interesting, thing. And I'm like, no way. And I look it up, and sure enough, he's right. And I'm like, wow, dude, you could be an astronaut,
Right?
At like 8 years old, you could be an astronaut.
Or maybe at least somebody that has, that studies space.
Exactly. And so the thing, and then, my daughter, she likes sewing, and she started making her own clothes, and out of fabric scraps and bed sheets that we pick up at thrift stores. And she likes to cook, and she gets creative cooking and makes artesian style bread and awesome layered cakes that are like the best cake you'll ever have in your whole life.
Yeah.
But she has the time to express those things, or
Explore
those things. She also has started writing books, and that's big too, because I would bet that even though she's only 16, she probably reads better than most college age students.
Yeah.
And then my younger daughter, she loves to read. She's in the 5th grade, and I bet she can read at a high school level.
Right, yeah.
Because she has time to read things that interest her.
Not that many kids nowadays can read.
Actually.
Or have a love for it. I don't know numbers on how many kids actually, enjoy reading.
I don't know how many enjoy reading, but as of the Department of Education puts out a school report card every year, every 2 years, something like that. Well, in 2024, that report card came out, and nationwide, did you know that only 31% of 8th graders can read, and only 27% of them can do math? That is a national average. There are some areas that are going to have higher or lower than that. I did read that there was a school in Washington, D.C., where a kid was not able to graduate, and he was one of the top kids in his class, and he had a less than a 1.0 grade point average. Our education system went from teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic to teaching gender studies, that there's a whole bunch of different genders, to your feelings matter more than anything else in the whole world. They've whitewashed history. They do not talk about current events. The Department of Education really only pushes one side of the narrative. Okay. They are not raising kids to be free thinkers. In fact, the guy who, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to get it wrong. There was a guy who studied education in other countries, and he brought the idea of a public education system to the United States. And when he did that, it was to create a workforce, because it was during like the industrial revolution after the Great Depression. And he the whole goal was to teach people to be good employees, not to think for themselves. And now we are at a point in history where our kids don't know how to read. They don't know how to do math. They don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how to be critical thinkers or problem solvers. They expect everything to be done for them. And now, especially with the invention of AI, students aren't even doing their own homework. They're having ChatGPT do it for them. So they're really not learning anything. Everything is based on test standards, pushing more and more of a political agenda. And really, our students, if you look at the numbers from, the 1960s, or I know a lot of our audience is older. And I'm sure that you can see, looking at how the education system was when you were in school compared to how it is now.
Right.
It is not the same.
Yeah, no.
It is not even in the same library as education was, 40, 50 years ago.
No, I think education should be based off of things, like, especially if it's a group education, it needs to be something that is going to benefit the whole group, like reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Right.
I'm like,
leave politics out of it.
Yeah, your emotions matter to you.
To you. Nobody else. No, people in the real world.
And knowing how to manage your own emotions is a good thing, but that's not something that needs to be taught in school. Learning how to manage your own emotions is not something that can be taught. It is something that can be explained to you, like that you need to learn how to manage how you react and how you feel. Mm-hmm. But those are how you emphasize the you there.
Right.
Because
it's a you problem.
Yeah, it's not about the rest of the class. It's not about the rest of the world. It's a you thing. You need to figure out. You need to deal with it. So that is not something emotional. Nothing should be a subject in school.
Right. And I think that that's probably something that should be learned at home, too.
Yeah.
And that brings up another thing. I don't want to make this video too long, but the fact that parents have pretty much been either pushed out of education or like being a part of their children's education, or we've gotten to a point where parents, there's probably plenty of excuses. I know that when I worked a full-time job that was more like working 2 full-time jobs at the same time, I didn't have time to go to school board meetings. I was usually at work. I didn't have time to spend 8 hours after I got off work between dinner and bedtime helping kids with their homework. So I can say that I was guilty of that too. But parents have taken a back seat to their children's education, and I think that that is a problem also.
Yeah.
I don't think that all teachers are bad. I think that there's still a lot of good teachers out there that understand their role in, bringing up the next generation.
We aren't talking about, like, teachers pretty much at all. We are talking about
the education system
the
itself.
Education system, and how it is not only failing our children, but it is also failing the teachers, the people that are educating our children. They don't have the right to teach what they want to anymore.
The freedom.
Yeah, the freedom.
Trying to say. Yeah.
To teach what they want. They are forced to teach a set curriculum.
A certain way.
Yeah.
So used to, even when we were in school, teachers could cater the curriculum to the children in their class. And every year, those kids change. And so every year, you have a whole different dynamic of people. And there needs to be some flexibility there. And I think that the good teachers in the classrooms need to be able to have that flexibility to serve those students the best way that they possibly can. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
What do y'all think? What are your observations?
Right.
What do you think about the whole only 31% of 8th graders can read and 27% of them can do math? How do you think what kind of toll do you think that is going to take on our country in the future?
Right.
Because they are the future generation.
It's public school versus homeschool,
versus private school. I can't speak on private school.
I've never been to one.
And our kids don't go to one. I don't really know anybody that's ever been to a public or a private school. So I can't speak on that either. Yeah. But there is that option. I just don't know.
I've only seen those in the Hollywood movies and stuff.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. Start a conversation. We like to hear your opinion.
Right. Let us know. Do you think the education system is failing us, or do you think
that we're on the right track?
Right. What's your guys' opinions?
Yep.
We're always curious.
Yep. That's it for today. We love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.